My next guest tonight is Johnny LaRue, Orson Welles, Dr. Tongue, Shelley Winters, and John Candy. He is one of the leading lights, whatever that means, of the SCTV company, and we're delighted to have him back with us tonight. Please welcome John Candy.
John Franklin Candy was born October 31st, 1950, in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. He grew up in Toronto, primarily in the East York neighborhood, after his family relocated. His father, Sidney, died of complications related to heart disease when John was only 4. That left his mother, Evangeline, to raise him with the support of extended family. His mother's side of the family had roots in Poland, and the family practiced a blue-collar Catholic upbringing. Despite early hardship, John showed an early warmth, charm, and desire to belong.
We all know that John Candy is a marvelous comedy actor, a marvelous sketch actor.
Oh,
yes.
I
mean, that goes without saying. But I know what you're going to say.
A taste of candy. In his youth, John had athletic ambitions. He played football and hockey and was known for his size, which he would carry on into his adult life. He attended a Catholic high school where he was active as a student council treasurer and also involved in drama. Though he had dreams of playing professional football, a knee injury curtailed that possibility. After high school, he enrolled in Centennial College in Toronto to study journalism and communications, then spent time at McMaster University, where he first became involved in the performing arts. Gradually, he gravitated towards sketch comedy, improvisation, and theater. In the early 70s, Candy's comedic path began to take shape. He became affiliated with The Second City, the respected improvisational comedy troupe, particularly in Toronto, and eventually joined the cast of the sketch comedy series Second City Television, or SCTV. That program, which began in Canada and eventually was syndicated to American audiences, was the launching pad for many comic talents. Candy's timing, warmth, and ability to craft characters made him a standout. He linked with contemporaries such as Rick Moranis, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy, Dave Thomas, and Andrea Martin to build a satirical and character-rich sketch show. As his reputation grew, Candy began to land small film roles. He appeared in uncredited or small roles in works like Class of 44 and other television projects. He also appeared on Canadian TV in shows like Dr. Zonk and the Zunkins in the mid-70s and had a regular role on Coming Up Rosie. One of his early and only serious films was a small role in the Canadian thriller The Silent Partner, where he appeared alongside Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer. But it was through SCTV that he gained credibility and visibility, and the show's relocation to the U.S. market in 1981 expanded his exposure considerably. By the late 70s and early 80s, Candy began pushing more into film. He had supporting parts in several ensemble comedies and cult projects. He appeared in Spielberg's 1941 in a small role and joined the Blues Brothers, in which his portrayal of parole officer Burton Mercer made an impression. His breakthrough as a leading comic actor came in the 80s. His amiable, big-hearted style drew audiences in. In Stripes, he had a supporting role, and in Splash, opposite Tom Hanks, he gained broader notice. He played roles in National Lampoon's Vacation, which reinforced his ability to fit within ensemble comedies, and in Brewster's Millions, he showed capacity to carry more weight in U.S. box office comedy fare. He also had the comic intellect and presence to bring nuance to roles such as in Armed and Dangerous. One of his most acclaimed pairings was with director-creator John Hughes, and in 1987, Candy co-starred with Steve Martin in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, arguably his signature film. In it, he played the role of Del Griffith, a talkative, good-natured salesman who befriends, for better or worse, the uptight Neil Page, played by Martin, on an ill-fated odyssey home during the Thanksgiving rush. Around the same time, he had roles in Spaceballs and later in The Great Outdoors, the latter co-starring Dan Aykroyd, in which his sense of ordinary man amusement shone. In 1989, he headlined Uncle Buck, playing the boisterous but caring Uncle Buck who must look after his brother's children. The movie became a touchstone in 80s and 90s comedy. He also produced Who's Harry Crumb, a screwball detective comedy, and launched the animated show Camp Candy, in which he starred and in which his children made appearances. Through the early 90s, he continued working steadily. He appeared in Home Alone in a memorable cameo as Gus Polinski, the Polka King of the Midwest. He also took on slightly more emotional or dramatic roles. Only the Lonely allowed him to flex dramatic chops, and he appeared in JFK, the Oliver Stone film, in a smaller role. Other credits include Once Upon a Crime and Cool Runnings, a Disney film in which he played the Jamaican bobsled coach, showcasing both humor and heart. On the personal front, he married Rosemary Margaret Hobor, his high school sweetheart, and they had 2 children, Christopher and Jennifer. He was known among colleagues as warm, generous, kind, often going out of his way to help others, whether by easing film sets or supporting people in financial or personal trouble. Candy's life, however, was not without challenges. He struggled with weight, health issues, and the pressures of fame. He was also reported to have dealt with anxiety and panic attacks, though these aspects of his inner life often remained private. Balancing comedic persona and vulnerability may have weighed on him. He was a people pleaser in many senses, striving to bring laughter and lightness even when wrestling with internal pressures. Tragically, while filming Wagons East in Durango, Mexico, John Candy died in his sleep March 4, 1994, at just 43. The cause was a heart attack. His sudden death sent shockwaves through the entertainment world and among fans worldwide. Several films released around the time of his passing, Wagons East and Canadian Bacon, were dedicated to his memory. He was laid to rest in Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California. In death, as in life, his legacy endured and grew. His films continue to resonate across generations. When people reflect on 1980s and early 90s comedy, his name frequently comes to the fore, not because of flashy stardom or contrived personas, but because he embodied the kind of big-hearted, human, everyman humor that combined physicality, empathy, and a sense of the absurd. His work in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Uncle Buck, Cool Runnings, and others remain staples in comedy retrospectives. He's often cited as one of the rare comedians whose warmth and humanity shone through, even when playing exaggerated or kooky characters.
In high school, I think it was more out of defensive posture, really. I was never a great student. I tried, but I don't think I was a very good student. I was probably still in shock, I think, from all the tragedies I think that we had dealt with.
I Like Me. Now, in 2025, an official documentary about his life is arriving to bring renewed attention, deeper nuance, and archival treasure to his story. Titled John Candy, I Like Me, the film is directed by Colin Hanks, son of Tom, and produced in part by Ryan Reynolds. It's made in cooperation with Candy's family. His widow Rosemary and children Christopher and Jennifer are actively involved in the production, contributing personal memories, archives, and context. The documentary draws on never-before-seen home videos, interviews with collaborators, and reflections from those who knew Candy both publicly and privately. The film's structure aims to present Candy as a son, husband, father, friend, and professional, emphasizing how his public persona intertwined with private vulnerabilities. Its storytelling intention is to explore not only the laughter he gave others, but the personal ghosts and pressures he carried behind the scenes. Its world premiere was at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 4th, 2025, serving as the opening night gala. It's slated to stream globally on Amazon Prime Video starting October 10th, 2025. The premiere, the participation of Candy's children, and the careful uncovering of personal archives suggest the filmmakers intend to offer a more complete portrait than has been told before. As audiences anticipate the documentary, there's hope that it will help revive appreciation for Candy's unique contributions to comedy and humanity, reminding viewers that his laughter came from a place of warmth, kindness, and depth, and that his life, though tragically cut short, continues to echo in the hearts of many. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite John Candy role? Let us know in the comments section below.